Time is X minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's the Rocket Hour. Y'all are now tuned in. Time to hit the pick four that you'd love to win. If your money's coming slow, step on the faster track with your host, Ricky Pasternak. Let's go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rocket Hour, episode 63. We will be previewing Belmont Park on I'm looking outside, a beautiful Thursday afternoon. This is, knock on wood, but this might be the best stretch of weather we've had for horse racing in quite some time. Obviously, we are an outdoor sport, so we need that. Aaron, good morning to you. We are back at Belmont Park for the first time in I don't know how many days, probably since like last Thursday, it feels like, or even last Wednesday potentially. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, man. I've been very amused over the last 24 hours almost. I want to bring it up real quick. Rachel McLaughlin, our good friend, posted a video on Twitter saying that she had. Have you seen this, Ricky?
I did. I saw,
Okay.
I'm not going to play it now, but I know where you're going with it, so I'll let you expand.
So she says, she's been fired, and it's like the boss is there. He's like, I didn't say that. And what'd you say? And it's like, I said no drinking on the job. He's like, it's the same thing. And she storms off. Most people thought it was funny and knew it was a joke. But evidently, the boss guy got several DMs from people thinking it was real and Rachel had actually been fired. It was like, that just blows my mind. Like, people will believe anything, So I just got the biggest laugh out of that last night. The video was funny, but the reaction of, really, you got fired? I can't believe this, was so much funnier.
I think the bigger question, I brought it, I was like, what if I made a video like that? And then I said that you fired me. That was the first reaction. I was like, I don't think I would get the reaction that she did, and you probably wouldn't get the reaction that he got. But nonetheless, it was funny. It was a good video too.
It was
a lot of videos. I'm kind of like, not hers, but just a lot of videos. It's like, if you don't get me in the first 10 seconds, then it's like I'm exiting it. But I actually wanted to watch the whole thing. So shout out to her for not only keeping us interested, but kind of making a joke out of it. I am sure her boss didn't love it because he had to answer a lot of ridiculous emails and Twitter comments and things like that. But nonetheless, it's good for Indiana Grant. Get some publicity out there. I want to start by giving a shout out to Corey Kluber. Wake up, Corey Kluber. He pitched one inning for the Texas Rangers last year. Walks off with a shoulder injury. This year, he looks like the Yankees' second best pitcher. Throws the sixth no-hitter of the season, the first for the Yankees. Mind you, Aaron, there have been 6 no-hitters. 3 teams have been no-hit twice. That's also unbelievable. The Cleveland Indians, the Texas Rangers, and I believe the Seattle Mariners. It's unbelievable what's been going on in baseball. 6 no-hitters through May 20th. We're like 6-7 weeks through the season. Last year, everyone's saying the ball's flying out of the park. Now they adjust the ball slightly, and all of a sudden, there's 6 no-hitters, the most through this point in the season. That's one end of the sports news. Aaron, I'm going to throw it to you on the other end of sports news. Tell Samish that here in St. Louis, the Blues look done. Colorado is faster and more skilled, chess versus checkers. And before you go, I will say I agree with the comment, but the old adage in hockey, you're not done until you lose on your home ice. If the Blues don't win game 3 and 4, they're probably done. But Aaron, I'll throw it to you now, and I'll let you kind of expand.
I love the comment. Tell Samich. Yeah, okay. Like Samich and I haven't been texting back and forth through the 2 games. FYI, huge Blues fan right here. Yeah, we've been talking about it. I mean, they're horrible, and they being the Blues, they have played horrible. I will say, if you stayed up, Mark, and you watched the last period and a half, I would say they kind of got back to their game a little bit. Not saying they're going to win, just saying game 3, maybe they get a win. I don't think they're going to win the series though. They're not as talented. I mean, we look very slow compared to Colorado. I mean, we look like turtles out there. Like McKinnon is just skating right past us. So I don't know. I thought we played better. And it could have been a situation where Colorado got ahead 3-0, and it was like, well, we have them beat. They let up.
Yeah. You know what the great thing about playoff sports is, and I guess for me, playoff hockey, I watch a lot of hockey during the regular season, but not nearly as much as you and Samich. So if you were to ask me, what have you been seeing through the playoffs, I can give you a good enough answer where I'm not going to overthink it, right? Like you might say, oh, they need to do X, Y, and Z. And I might just be like, Aaron, this is what I'm observing. Let's see if they just do that, because I'm not thinking about it like you guys, right? I'm not as big of a fan. I don't know everything about it, but I'm observing what you said. One team has McKinnon. That's all I need to know. And if you've watched the first 2 games, kind of looks like the best player on the ice, and it's not all that close.
Yep.
As opposed to, you watch the Boston Capital series, and it's like, all right, one team has Ovechkin, but then one team has a lockdown defense. Yeah. I mean, and that's why those games have literally been so close. I think they've been all 1-goal games, maybe one game is 2. Last night, yeah, the Blues came back, but you never really felt as an Avs fan like you were in trouble, except for a few minutes, except for that they had like a short stint in the third period. But the Blues, if they don't lose on their home ice and they are able to level it up, all of a sudden it is a series again. But I think the average hockey fan would kind of think that this series is kind of over. But
I think it'll be a 5-game series. I do think the Blues are going to win one.
Well, that's where I'm at. If I'm a Blues fan, the longer they make it, the better it'll be. If we get swept, it's embarrassing. You can't be in a playoff series and get swept. I don't care what sport you're in. Yeah. You've got to find – basketball's a little different if you don't have that star. Let's get through it. I guess there are a lot of people are chiming in on the comment. I mean, this is great. We could talk sports for a while. That was hilarious of the reaction. So Dennis is talking about Rachel, take Charlie's cheating route on what to say to your boss. Yeah. If I'm at the Belmont and Aaron and Jared are standing side by side, who knows what's going to be said? Maybe we can get some Twitter reactions there. Players don't hit for base hits anymore. That is true. I completely agree with this comment. Yeah. It's literally become a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. Not the way I grew up playing baseball. Definitely not the way Aaron grew up playing or watching baseball. It's gotten really, really ugly. I don't like the way this has really gone anymore. Honestly,
on a baseball front, I haven't watched it in many years, and that is why. I don't think they play baseball anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a fan at heart, and a huge Yankee fan. Like every night I'm watching, but I'm with you. If I was an average baseball fan, I'd be turned off. So I'm completely with you. Now you're through. Okay, this comment should be framed. This is the comment of the day. If anyone would like to try to beat it, this is the one of the day so far. You'll get a nice price on the losing game 3. Okay, so Jason, I agree. I just agreed with you, and now I have to disagree. I don't want to. This is why I don't think you will, right? Because the Avs come in with all the momentum, and the Blues have to strike. They have to strike here. Because if they don't win, it's series over. At least a 2-1, okay, you get some momentum, you're playing home ice. I don't know if it's 2-2, 1-1-1, or 2-3-2. Nonetheless, they have to win game 3. Because if you don't, it's then you're probably getting swept. In game 4, you're probably getting swept. I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know if they're out. I could try to look in between.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I'm going to go, Aaron. I'm going to guess the Blues are plus 120.
Actually, Jason's right. The Blues are plus 175 right now.
All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I would consider I thought it would be a lot lower. I knew they'd be plus money.
Yeah.
In the regular season, if they were playing, that's what. The zigzag theory usually works. Game. I have a feeling the Blues are going to win game 3 and then lose game 4 and then it's 3-1. So that's my guess because they have to win. If they don't win here, they're getting swept. I agree. That gets my hopes up, but they have little room for error. Okay, so he's talking about the Blues. Binnington, I hate to say it, Binnington's been the best player best man on the ice, and they're still losing. It's tough when you're you know what I'm saying? Like, unless your goalie's pitching a shutout or 1-goal games, the Blues aren't winning. And one thing is that I don't want to say an avid hockey fan. Of a hockey fan, I'm not going to use the word avid like Aaron is. You need to score. It's like football, right? Where it's like, all right, we have a great defense, but if you don't score more than 14 points, you're not winning anything. The Blues are trying to win games 2-1. That's not going to be good enough against the Cavs. Against the Avs, 3-2 is probably not good enough. There will have to be games where they can get to at least 3-4 goal marker. Last night they were able to get to 3. The problem is the Avs already had 4. So
Right,
at that point it's a little late. And mind you, it was like 4-1. It's not like it was like 1-0, 1-1. Like they were going back and forth. It was like 4-1. They were playing catch up. These playoffs have been as close to normal outside of Washington, Boston. I'm not sure what that. I think they're pretty normal. I don't know what that means. I missed the 2005 KC Royals. Get them on. Yeah, that's the Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer. Yeah, exactly. When they played the Mets, they played the Cubs. They had a nice run there. It'll only get closer to game time. Legal betting in Colorado, they'll hammer the Avs. I mean, that's fair. I agree, but I agree. I think the Blues will be their best price now, and it's going to change. They'll at that point, I guess, around plus 150. If the Blues are playing the Sharks with 76-year-old Joe Thornton and Brett Burns, they might have a chance. Yeah, maybe Patrick Marleau as well.
The problem with the Blues division is they match up pretty good with everybody, but Vegas and Colorado, they're just head and shoulders above everybody. And you got to play them so many times, and they couldn't really ever beat either one of them with any kind of consistency. And so it kind of was like, oh, this season kind of just sucks because they're not as good as those two teams. That's just the simple fact of it.
Yeah, that's it's a nice segue. It's a really nice time in sports, right? You got NBA playoffs if you like that. You got NHL playoffs, so your third leg of the Triple Crown. But then even after that, you got so many tracks that's got such good racing. Baseball's in full swing if you like that. By the time all the playoffs are over and you're like into June, early July, your Saratoga's opening up, and then you know what that means. July 4th, I always say football begins, right? Because you start to hear all these training camps and things like that. But that's going to do it for our sports now. We love the sports comments if we get a chance at the end. There's one, Aaron, before we talk Belmont today, there's one thing that you put out on racingdudes.com, and I'm going to show it here. And that's the Racing Dudes Divisional Rankings episode, part 1 of the year. The first rankings of the year, as you guys can see. We'll go through them just a little bit. We don't have to go through all of them, but you can see it here at racingdudes.com. We'll just kind of go through all the types of things here. Obviously, there is a note that no Baffert horses are going to be ranked based on what they've done before, which is fair. So this is, Aaron, this is where you go 1 through 5. We do have some turf horses. We have some mares on there. We got some older horses, younger horses. So, Aaron, real quick, before I get into the breakdown, this is your list 1 through 10. Out of all these horses, right, 1 through 10, who do you see moving up? Or potentially, I guess if you're Mr. Guide, you could, if he has a big campaign, he'll just stay. Again, whatever the case may be. Or maybe someone out of the top 10, they're like, I really wanted to get him or her in, but this is just where I landed. Any like final thoughts where you're like, I wish I could make a change, or I see this horse having a big summer, big fall, or whatever?
Domestic spending for me. That's the one that I think is gonna go up the standing. He's already at number 5, and I probably have him ranked higher than some other people in the NTRA because I'm just very high on that horse. But yeah, I think he's going to go up, and I think Maxfield. I thought Maxfield. He's at 7 right now. I could see him getting moved up as well. With, like you said, big summer campaign, should be ahead for both those horses.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We saw the domestic spending race, and we're like, this was just his comeback of 2021. Probably this was at the time, like maybe in April or the beginning of May or whatever. We're like, he's probably going to be the best older turf horse in the country come the end of Saratoga or end of Del Mar. Pick your track in the end of August. So I'm with you there. We'll just go through these a little bit, some of the older males. Aaron, which one of these horses are you looking for? We'll just go through it. Which one of these horses are you looking forward to most?
I guess I would say Mystic Guide. I'm ready to see him come back and how he does. He obviously is a clear number 1 heading into the summer. So I'm looking forward to see Mystic Guide, seeing, what kind of horse is he going to be now that he went to Dubai and that was great, but can he now carry that back over? Sometimes we see him, they come back from Dubai and they're not quite as good. So I think he's kind of the key to the whole thing, because I think he's clearly better than everybody else, at this moment. It's just, can he carry that form, for the rest of the season? Because at this point last year, you might say, well, Tom's the tot. He's going to be awfully tough. And he didn't carry the form in the second half of the year. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true, but I saw Nick's Go might be returning to a race at Lone Star.
Yep. Yeah, next weekend. Yeah, the Sexton Mile.
I never would have said that. I've never seen a horse like that run at Lone Star, so that would be kind of cool. I don't know if that's going to happen, if what they're going to do, but I'm excited to see him. Right, kind of the same thing. Missed a guy coming back from Saudi, so we're going to see with him. Older females. I think, Aaron, this might be the division that I kind of like the most, and I'm a big turf horse guy. Like, I like turf horses more. I'm a Triple Crown fan, but I love turf racing the best. But I don't know, this 1, 2, 3, and if you want to throw Swiss Skydiver in there, is this group, this 5, not loaded in any order? I think you can make a legitimate case where, like, She Dares the Devil is one. Like, you can make a legitimate case. This is an absolutely loaded group right now. Yeah,
this is a really good group. And Dennis made a comment, She Dares the Devil can jump Monomoy Girl. I don't know. Monomoy Girl, she's at the farm right now. I don't know if she's coming back. I'm skeptical. I've said that before about her, though. I don't know. This could be it for her. She Dares the Devil. She has a win over Latruska as well, so I think She Dares the Devil is the one that could definitely get up to that number 1 spot. It's a great group, though. Swiss Skydiver, I don't forget about her. She had a horrible race in the Apple Blossom, but she's shown she's awfully good. She's shown that she's really good going long. And then Kamari, a really good sprinter, on the dirt as well. So this division's absolutely loaded. And, Bob Baffert has Gamine and has, some nice fillies that could jump into this rankings too, if they prove to me that they can do it after May 7th when he got caught. And the reason why I made that decision is we haven't seen a horse of his run very well since that happened. So I think what happened in the first half of the year for the Baffert horses, I throw it out the window. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, no, that's fair, right? I mean, there's nothing proven with any of them, but we're certainly skeptical, to say the least. And if Aaron it's his website, he can write his articles however he wants, and he puts that. You put that at the top, right? I mean, you said not ranking anyone after before May 7th, what they're doing. So that's, if you disagree, that's fine. But he did put that caveat. 3-year-old males, right? We're going to be talking about the Belmont, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ron Bauer, if he's second, this is the weakest group I've ever seen. Now, Essential Quality is a good horse. He did not, I'll say this again, he did not deserve 4th. And Rock Your World probably deserves to be on the list had Joel Rosario given him a C- ride. He decided to give him an F ride. But who in this group do you think, well, let's not talk about Belmont, but who do you think in this group, maybe that, I guess we could throw Known Agenda in there, top 6, could be in for a big summer campaign? Maybe a distance change or something like that.
That's the $1 million question. I don't really know. Known Agenda, I think, is a horse that has a right to kind of progress the older he gets because of the breeding. So I would say him. Essential Quality, he seems like the best horse, but he's going to run in the Belmont. He ran in the Derby. He might be a little tired by the time the summer gets here. Yeah, High Rod Charlie for Jared, that's possible. He's lightly raced, but another one he's going to have to run in the Belmont. And I don't know, sometimes when you get to the summer, if you skip that Belmont, it helps. Maybe it's Mandaloon. I haven't really heard Mandaloon pointing, towards the Belmont. He is going to eventually be the sort of Kentucky Derby winner. Maybe Mandaloon is the summer horse. But, you say Ron Bauer, and it's like, oh, he's so bad. If he's number 2, it's a bad group. Do you realize if Ron Bauer wins the Belmont, which is a huge if, but if he does, he would win the Preakness and the Belmont, and he skipped the Kentucky Derby. He was eligible to run in the Kentucky Derby, and he skipped it. I don't think we could ever say that about a horse that voluntarily skipped the Derby and then won the Preakness and the Belmont. That would be wild.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy, even though we don't think he would have won the Derby. But as the connections, you'd look back and say, well, in theory, we could have won the Triple Crown.
Like, what were we doing, right?
Well, that's why they do say, right, if you're eligible, just get your horse in the gate and figure it out from there. They chose not to, unless there was an underlying fitness issue that we don't know about, but no one has come out and said that.
No, according to the trainer, quite the opposite. The trainer and the owner got in a massive argument about the Kentucky Derby.
Well, that's always good to know when those types of issues come out. Real quick, Aaron wrote Mandaloon. He meant to say Medina Spirit, not Median Spirit. I will try. I will try to fix that, or one of us will try to fix
magic. That's all magic. He has to edit. So
see, when I put my articles up, no one sees it. So if I mess up, it's completely on me. I don't know who edited this one, but we apologize. It's
magic. We're gonna have to fire him.
It's supposed to be Medina Spirit. Let's get to the 3-year-old females. I don't think this group is that good other than Malathot and search results. I think there's a legitimate gap between 2 and 3. And the fact Aaron put gift list on there, I think he might have been on crack or something, because that horse stinks. That horse, and she was horrible. Now, leading up to that race, okay, I'm with him there. Like, right? Because gift list might be Aaron probably number 2, right? Before the Black Eyed Susan. So I guess it's a long way to fall. But
you've got horses mixed up. I don't know who you're thinking, but Giftlift won the Edgewood.
Who am I thinking?
I don't know.
Who's the Baffert that was just bad? Oh God.
Oh, that's Beautiful Gift. No, I would never rank that horse.
Okay, I apologize.
I don't rank Baffert horses that haven't proven themselves since May 7th.
I wasn't thinking. All right, I apologize. You're right. I was like, I knew there was a gift in there. I was like, because when I first saw it this morning, I was like, oh, this is a good article to show. And I was like, wait, he put this horse on there? I was like, all right, I got to give him crap. All right, I apologize. Yes, Giftless is the horse that is trending upward, but Giftless is probably the only horse that can legitimately contend in that 1 or 2 spot at this point, because I think we kind of know what Will Sneaker, Travel Column, and Clariere are. Unless they run a Rumbauer race, they're not beating Malathot. And it took me a long time to get to Malathot and admit she's actually a good horse, because I didn't think that. But again, I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. I still kind of think search results is a little bit better. But nonetheless, I think those 2 are the best. Are there any of these, I guess we'll say 3 through 6, that you like? Or maybe there's someone like a Beautiful Gift that, all right, well, I'll throw her a bone, say it was a bad race, but she deserves to be in the top 5 with a bounce back performance.
I really want to see Travel Column come back. That Kentucky Oaks was not good, but I think she's better than that. I don't really know what happened that day, but yeah, I think Travel Column can definitely move up the list a little bit. I think Will Secret's kind of just that, really consistent type. I don't think she's great, but you're right. I mean, that's a big gap between the top 2 and everybody else right now. So, and they proved in the Kentucky Oaks. And the way they're campaigning Malathot, I mean, they're just picking great spots, right? I mean, you didn't go to the Belmont. Now we're going to go to the coaching club. I mean, who's going to beat her there? Then you're probably going to go to the Alabama, and boy, is she suited to go, that distance of the Alabama. I don't see any way anybody's going to overtake her at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? I'm still skeptical of how talented she is, but when you kind of look around, I'm not sure if there's anyone on this list. Maybe there's some maiden out there that's going to break her maiden in Saratoga and just run up the ranks potentially, or Del Mar or something like that. But you look at this list, which is 1 through 6. I'm not really sure if there's anyone outside of search results who could beat her at this point. Finally, someone with a brain leaves Whitmore off the sprinter list. Thank you, because I'm done with that horse. I've been saying it for a long time now. Absolutely done with Whitmore. People were betting Whitmore like he was the second coming of Secretariat as a sprinter. Now he's off Aaron's list. Thank you, Aaron. I'm the biggest thing I'm kind of surprised by. Whitmore is 4th. I thought Whitmore would have been off the list.
I was saying, are you high today? Did you show up to do the show high?
I skipped 4. Jackie's Warrior. Could we talk about him? Because we had this conversation. I'm not sure where he fits, right? Because Jackie's Warrior has proven he can go long, even though that's not what he's best at. Is he fast enough for 6 furlongs? I bet he is. But he fits Saratoga, right? Because those races are 7 furlongs. They don't run mile races. So he is really fit for that. And that's kind of where he started last year. What do you think of him in terms of, is he as fast as CZ Rocket? We might find out. But he's right. He's really weird because he's so versatile, which kind of makes us question what he's best at in ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I kind of put him in that spot of, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think he still has a lot to kind of he doesn't really have a lot to prove. It's just now, is he good enough to beat the higher ranked horses that I've got here? I'm not sure a little bit on that, so he's going to be a lot of fun. This comment was funny. I thought we weren't doing drugged horses, LOL CZ. No, I said we weren't doing Baffert horses before May 7th. And if I didn't do drugged horses, how could I make this list, Dennis?
Well, it's also...
Who would I rank? Like, would I just go to Bill Mott and Shug McGahee and Graham Motion and just rank all their horses? I mean, is that what you want me to do? I could do that if that's what you want, but...
Yeah, we'd probably, in the 3-year-old males, we'd probably end up with crowded trade and risk taking when this thing comes. I mean, we'd be ranking the 18th placed horse 4th. So
I mean, who trains Mischievous Alex? Okay, like
yeah. I mean, at least we could assume Whitmore is clean.
Yeah, he's probably number 1. No, well, Flagstaff. I would say Flagstaff. And then
no, but I mean, it's also, we know like the Baffert thing came out. We can't technically confirm the CZ Rocket thing. So I even though we all suspect it, I'm kind of with Aaron there. That's it. If you guys want some more details on kind of why Aaron put that, it'll be up there. But we do have Belmont today. Luckily, we have some racing to go over. The scratches are out if you want to check out Andy Serling. I don't know if they're up on Equibase. So as we go through these entries, I will announce horses that are going to be out. Aaron was kind enough. Well, I shouldn't say kind enough. He wanted to switch it up, and he's going with a pick 4 today. He didn't put, as I'm scrolling this, he didn't put that it's for 50 cents, but it's for 50 cents. So he went a little bit shorter. I want to touch longer. So we'll start here in race number 6. Oh, quick shout out, Jared, if you're still listening. Thanks for putting in that request for Belmont. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can make that work. All right. May 20th, race number 6, 5:43 post. That will be about race 6. They are starting at 3 o'clock today, so keep that in mind. Don't think that at 3 o'clock you missed it. If it's 2:59, you're just on time. Race 6, maiden special weights for 3-year-olds and upward, going 6 furlongs on the turf. No changes to announce. So, Aaron, I'll start with you here. Kind of looks like Wesley Ward has the horse to beat with the 1 after 5.
Yeah, I went with a pick 4 here today because I just, after 5, and then the horse we'll talk about the next race, they're going to be too short a price to bet to win, but I don't really think they're going to lose. And then the other races, it's like, yeah, I don't really see the tries and exact as paying what I want them to. So I thought a pick 4 was the best way to go. I started with number 1 after 5. I just think this horse is the one to beat. Ran decent off a layoff last time out at Keeneland. Same distance, pretty much 5.5 last time out. Going to go to 6 today. Just from a number standpoint, all the horse has to do is run back to that race, and they shouldn't be able to beat him. So it was simple for me to start off. I put the 1 on top. Definitely think, the 1's going to be tough. The 8 is interesting to me. Number 8, Newsworthy. The horse has shown speed around 2 turns. Now we're going to go a 1-turn sprint here, 6 furlongs. I kind of like the cutback in distance. I think the horse drawing outside going to be like a stalker type situation. I don't think the horse will be on the lead, but can kind of stalk the pace. I trust, Mott and Alvarado, obviously. So I use the 1 and the 8 to kick this thing off.
So I'm with you on the 1. There's nothing to really add other than I don't think I've ever seen a horse run 2 graded stakes races before they won a race. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. But Wesley Ward has been known to do some crazy things, especially with the sprinters. So he should win. You went with the 8, right? Newsworthy is your second horse. I just kind of looked at it as like we both think the one's going to win, so I want a little bit more value, if that makes any sense. Like I'm looking at the 8, and I see the Tappet pedigree. There's no indication to me as to why this horse would want to run shorter. Like all of his races went longer. Even the one dirt race was longer, which that was one of the worst maiden special weight races I've ever seen. But then even on the turf, he ran well. I respect this horse. I just think going longer. So I went with the 7 Digital Future for a few reasons. Sloppy dirt track on the debut last year. Let's throw that out. Chad Brown obviously knows what a turf horse looks like. Maybe this horse stinks. I have no idea. Maybe this horse couldn't run against a standing tree, as I like to say. But at the same time, I'm willing to see what this horse is, and I'll take 9-2 over 5-2 against a horse that we already think is going to win in the 1. Like, to me, it just does. You know, I'm like, I don't think the 8 is going to beat the 1. I don't think anyone's going to beat the 1. But I don't really know what the 7 is. I do know what the 8 is, and I just see that pedigree for the 8 being a little bit longer. The only other horse that I thought had any consideration would be the 2 First Law. I just can't get over how bad his last start was. It just says outrun. He beat one horse, and then we haven't seen him. If after 5's not in the race, the 1, then maybe. But did you like the 2 at all, or anyone else? That this field outside of those top 3 we mentioned don't look all that great.
I really didn't like the 2 all that much, but the 7 I am with you on. I think that's going to go one way or the other, right? I mean, this horse is either going to be pretty good on the turf and move up, or he's just not very good, right? And I think, well, Dennis, I see the comment there. That's exactly what you said. It's one or the other, but I agree with your logic of, hey, if I'm going to use another horse besides the 1, let's do a little bit of a price. Makes sense. I get it. There's nothing on paper that says the 7's going to run very well, but Chad Brown on the turf gets IRAD. Obviously, it's an interesting horse from that standpoint.
Well, exactly. Right. Maybe this horse gets, all the things that Dennis mentions here. Maybe this horse just sucks. I have no idea. But then if that horse just sucks, what we're saying is it's kind of 1 versus 8. You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, it's like, all right, then you're good. Aaron, you'll move on regardless. It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what the 7 goes off as. Do they see the first race and say, boy, this horse sucks? Or do they say, IRAD, Chad Brown getting back to the turf? Let's buy stock. I think that's the most interesting aspect of that race. Let's move on to race number 7, allowance optional, claiming $80,000 for 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile. It's my turn, and thank goodness I get to talk about a 3-year-old filly that I think that one day she will be able to contend with Malathot, and it's right on cue, right, Aaron? If this 2 Always Karina, I think that's how I pronounce it, Always Karina runs well here, she will be in a stakes race. Now, I don't know if her stakes race would be the Cogent Club American Oaks, but nonetheless, she will be running somewhere. Oh, and quick shout out to Malibu Moon, her sire, no longer with us, unfortunately. But she is by Malibu Moon. We're going to see if she could handle the fast track going, this 1-turn mile. This is a really good setup for her in terms of the field's all not terrible, but if she's good, she's going to beat this group. There's only one other horse I think that could really run with her. Chad Brown might have a special filly on his hands, and we're going to find out here. I did go with 2 others just in case that muddy track really plays. We're going to see the 4 Jordan's Leo. I thought was interesting. Debuted last year against Malibu Curl and lost, but then comes back. Maybe she's just better as a 3-year-old. That's certainly possible. And there are a lot of question marks with the 4 and 5, and that's why I wanted to include them. For the 4, if she's better a little bit older, she won by 7. I don't know what she beat. Nonetheless, she did it easily. I want to include Todd Pletcher, Manny Franco. And then the 5, Malibu Curl. I mean, she ran the Damoiselle to Malathot, who I can't believe I'm saying this, but she's the best filly in the country as of right now. So whether I want to admit it or not, she is the 3-year-old champ. I mean, she just won the Kentucky Oaks. So I went 2-4-5, but I think Always Karina. My prediction now, Always Karina will be running against Malthot at some point this summer. I don't know what race it's going to be. I think she's going to roll this field. I don't know if the Coaching Club American Oaks is her next move, but she could easily, Aaron, if she wins this race, be in another like stupid allowance optional claiming race and go on to win there by 3 or 4 or 5 if she wins here. So that's my bold prediction. Always Karina runs against Malthot at some point this summer.
That would be interesting. I also have Always Karina on top. I think this horse, I'm not as high as you as far as, hey, we're going to take down Malthot or face her next time out. But I do think this horse has got a lot going for her. And I think it's a logical spot. You know, Brown really does well when they break the maiden like that. He doesn't throw them in stakes all that often. He usually goes the allowance next, and it's a good spot. And it's a 1-turn mile, you know, gradually trying to stretch the horse out in distance. So I like it. I think Always Karina got a big shot. I did not use the 4. I did use the 5 Malibu Curl. You know, Luis Saez gets a board for Albatrani. That's always a very good sign right off the bat there. The big thing for me is like, okay, you got beat my Malthot by 5 1/4. Hey, that's not that bad of a performance. And I think if this horse has progressed and shows progression as a 3-year-old off that race, that's the only one that I could really see challenging Always Karina. So the 2 and the 5 were just easy picks for me here. I didn't really consider anybody else. It's going to be interesting. Can Always Karina, you know, dominate this field? It probably should. It is a better field in that maiden spot, though, so it'll be interesting to see how she runs. Should just break from the gate and take him gate to wire, not mess around. I mean, you should see this horse right at the front, right from the start. And if things go well, she should just cruise down the lane on her way to bigger and better things.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's one horse that we didn't talk about yet. First of all, let me backtrack. The 3 Hybrid Eclipse is going to be scratched. I don't think it's not official yet. Andy Thurling tweeted that out, so if you were interested in the 3 Hybrid Eclipse, she's out. And it was a Linda. I don't know what the situation is with all the Linda Rice horses, if they're going to be scratched, if they're going to have to go to a new barn for the time being. I don't know. So maybe Aaron can give you detail if he knows. I don't know I don't know if they're allowed to run under an assistant's name. I really have no clue. Because I think a Linda Rice runner might have been scheduled to run earlier on the card. So I don't know. This is like the first time I think her runners have been scheduled to run since that suspension or whatever you want to call it came down on Monday, I believe. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I don't know if all her runners are scratched for the time being. I don't know. So the 3 right now, Hybrid Eclipse is scratched for Linda Rice. Irad Ortiz is going to ride. How about the 6, Aaron? Stand By You. This horse is interesting to me because we don't really know. Well, first of all, we know the horse can close based on her ability to not beat a single horse out of the gate on 2 occasions. But she does close with a kick. It's going to be interesting, though, to see what type of pace setup. When it's a 5-horse field, it seems like it's a little slow, which might hinder her ability. Joel Rosario, though, for Todd Beatty. I don't know if I've ever seen that duo hook up before. What did you think of the 6 Stand By You?
I thought the pace situation would really hinder this horse's chances. I think it's a good horse to use underneath. You know, I said that about Rombauer, and look what happened. So maybe play this horse to win. But no, I definitely looked at it and said, well, where is the pace going to come from outside of the 2? I mean, maybe it's the 4, but I don't think the 4 is fast enough. So I thought Stand By You, you know, I was pretty impressed last time out at Keeneland. Of course, she was 3-5 in that spot. So she kind of ran how she was supposed to. But we'll see. I think this is a little bit too tough of a field for Stand By You, and I don't think the pace is going to set up.
No, I'm with you, right? I mean, if we're just going off time form numbers, Stand By You got an 89 in the whole race she lost. Mm-hmm. Got a 73 in the race she won. That's not good to go down 16 points. Mm-mm. If she runs an 89, that probably puts her last. Like
Yeah.
Bravo Regina ran an 89. That's the one horse. So I was just interested, obviously Joel Rosario getting a 4. Let's move on to the 8th race. This is allowance optional claiming 80,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, going 6 furlongs on the Widener turf. Aaron, this has a lot of these horses all have stakes races pretty much under their belts. Well, we won't say the stakes races were great for all of them, but they have stakes experience, which makes this a very, very tough allowance optional claiming field.
Yeah, this is probably the race of the day. Well, I don't know that race before. If you like to watch a potential star horse, maybe that's the race today. But you like to bet on a race, this one's going to be pretty tough. I started on top. This was actually the horse I have as my best value of the day at Belmont Park. It's number 6, Corky. I really like this horse coming in here. Got a little bit of his feet wet, so to speak, at Belmont last time out. A very similar level. Got second, beaten 3/4 of a length. This horse is always consistent. He always seems to be around. Still running well at age 5. So I put Corky on top. My second choice was number 3, Ghoul. This is a horse I never seem to get quite right. I'm never really on this horse at the right time. And then when I jump off, he wins. So I do think he definitely fits today. I see a lot of pace in this race, and I see Ghoul closing from the clouds here. Has Rosario aboard, no better jockey as far as that goes, as far as a closer. So I thought Ghoul was one you definitely have to throw in. So the 3 and the 6 were the top 2 that I threw in.
Before I go real quick, the 1, Gemography and MTO, going to be out, and the 2, Running with Scissors and another MTO, going to be out. So we're 3 through 10, and the 7, Big Engine, is also going to be out. So the 1 and 2, the MTOs are out, and then the 7, Big Engine, Linda Rice, Eric Hansel. So maybe the theme of Linda Rice's horses are just going to be scratched for the moment. Seems to be, again, I can't confirm. Maybe that's just a coincidence, but 1, 2, and 7 are out. For me, I put Battle Station on top. I think he's one of the more consistent types, but it's tough, right? Because he faced Corky, he faced Ghoul last year. This is a great betting race if you could find a favorite in terms of, like, if you like to place win bets, this is great because I think you're not going to get any shorter than 5-2. That's my prediction. So it's great. The problem when we play, we both use a 3, 4, 6, 8, and we're probably going to get nothing better than 4 to 5-1. Mm-hmm. So what that means is it's kind of like just hope for the better price and move on, because Shecky Shabazz kind of looks like a vulnerable favorite to me. Now, with that being said, he is the classiest of the bunch. I'm not betting a horse that hasn't won since December of 2019. Mm-hmm. He has excuses like Arcadus and Imprimis and Caratari, Texas Wedge. All those sprinters are better, but he's been a favorite in a lot of those too. And he just hasn't been able to get the job done. I would love if Shecky Shabazz took the money because of Clement and Irad Ortiz. I think that'd be great for us because you like Corky and I like Battle Station. I also use Ghoul. So I think I don't really have too much to add other than I'm curious to see who takes the lead, because for a turf sprint, it doesn't look like anyone's dying to get the lead. So I think that will be an interesting question for bettors to ask themselves. I think Battle Station can go for it. I think Corky can go for it. I think Shecky can go. Like, I think you can make a case for a lot of them. Ghoul won't go for it. That's probably the one of the 4 that won't. But breaking from the rail or from the 3-post, but the inside horse, he's probably going to be a little bit more tactically placed than what we've seen. Even though it says, in the post positions, 2, 3, 2, 5. This is a 3 from the 1 post because the 1 and 2 are out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But Aaron and I are on the same horses. Let's move on to the final race, maiden special weight for fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and upward, going 1 1/4 miles on the turf. Aaron, this is going to be a test for some of these horses. Dennis says, and the 9 is probably out as well. I guess he's talking about Fast Getaway. I haven't seen anything about Fast Getaway according to Andy Serling. So if we're going on that theory, then that horse is going to get scratched. Maybe that's just a coincidence, or maybe the connections for some of these horses are pulling their horses out. I'm not sure, because at the end of the day, if someone wants to pull their horse, whoever the trainer is, the trainer's got no say. They don't own the horse. So maybe that's the case. Dennis, I don't know. I really don't. The whole Linda Rice thing is a little tricky right now, and they haven't said if those horses are being scratched or not. So as of right now, the 9 is in. I'll scroll down here to the 9th race, the final race. We do have one MTO, and that is the 1 Tonal Verse. Tonal Verse is going to be kept out as an MTO. This is interesting, Aaron, because we have 10 furlongs, so we don't have anything to gauge on. We don't know if any of these horses even want to go that long outside of the pedigrees. So I went with the 5, and again, this is my favorite thing in horse racing, the Klaravich stables with their names, which are usually entrepreneurial or business related, and we get coalition building. Lemon Drop Kid, Total War by Warpass. There's a lot of pedigree that's going to suggest that she's going to want to go longer. I think one of her best races was going longer last time out. It was 1.25 miles at Belmont. The problem, though, for me and why I wanted to use a few, there's really no excuse for her in terms of she got the trip. She was sitting in the right 2 to 3 path, and she just got out kicked. Now, that's not to say she can't win, because that race is probably good enough to win, but I kind of have a feeling she's going to be the horse to beat in a short price. There are some others to use in here. And the pedigrees are unbelievable, and I'll let Aaron go in a minute. But the 4 is Summer Front. The 6 is Into Mischief, so that's a little questionable. But the 7, Warfront. The 8, Dubawi, that's all European. And the 10, Medaglia d'Oro. The 9, Temple City. There's a lot of turf and distance pedigree. Aaron, where did you go here? I could see you try to take as many as possible.
Yeah, I went 4 deep here. I went 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm with you on the 5. We actually talked about the race that the 5 came out of on a Rocket Hour. And Higher Truth was also a Chad Brown horse, and that horse came up and to beat Coalition Building. Also, the 6, Lysine was able to beat Coalition Building. So, I mean, Lysine's 5-1, and Coalition Building is 5-2. So, kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I think you got to use both of them out of that race. I think both of their races will be good enough to beat this field, and so I think the 5-6 is where you definitely start out. I kind of liked the 7, another horse that came out of that race. So. But the reason why I kind of like the 7, gets a big jockey upgrade, for my opinion, for the running style. So this horse likes to come from off the pace. Now we've got Rosario aboard. It's really not a knock on Castellano. It's just, a horse off the pace. Give me Rosario. I think the jockey upgrade is going to make a difference. It's not like she was blown out of that race. And at 8-1, I'll take another shot with the 7. I do think the 7 is interesting here with Rosario. And then, to comment on the 4, once again, comes out of that same race and was kind of right there with the 7. He got 4th in that race, beaten about 5 lengths, but still was around, had a shot. Today I think the pace sets up pretty well. I think the 4 is going to be one they're just going to kind of send to the front. And you go 1.25 miles at Belmont on the turf. I definitely think the 4 has a good shot to take him gate to wire if that's how they ride this horse, and I think that's how they should. So 4, 5, 6, and 7 for me. Yeah,
it's one horse that you didn't talk about that I like a lot, and that's Black Sand. I don't like playing this way, but if you were to keep it as single race wagers, I would just kind of look at prices, because I would rate all these horses between an 80 and an 89. None of them to me are an A-, which means if I'm going to have an 86, let's just say at 5-2, or an 81 at 7-1, I'll take, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like they're all clumped in. And I think you can make a legitimate case for the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 Obviously, we're not going to use that many. We kind of have to cut it short at some point. But I think that's the way you kind of play it. Like if the 4 does go off at 6-1, I'll play that horse over the 5 at 5-2. Absolutely. The one horse that, again, we didn't really talk about too much is Black Sand. Debuted last summer against a horse named Caldi, who's pretty solid, but was the favorite at 4-5. I would never bet. First time started at 4-5 going 2 turns on the turf. I think that's nuts. If you want to get beat by a horse like that, then congrats, but I wouldn't do it. Then comes back at Keeneland, and I thought was much better, but also goes off at 3-5. Now this horse, second off the layoff, Chad Brown getting Javier, switches from Irad, so Irad's going to go to the other one who stays aboard Coalition Building. I kind of want to see where the 8 comes back. With the second start off of the layoff. Again, Dubawi, this horse, Peter Brandt owned, was bred here, but a ton by Galileo. Galileo, one of the best European sires as well. Dubawi, tons of turf and distance pedigree. So I think this is going to be a good race. But we, Aaron, as we kind of recap, there are a lot of races that the favorites look vulnerable for sure. And it's kind of up to us to hopefully get some prices home and try to make this thing pay. I'll go first. I'll recap first. I went with the 1-7 in race 6, 2-4-5 in race 7. Race 8, I went 3-4-6-8. And race 9, I went 4-5-8. And the race I'm looking forward to is Always Karina. I'm going to stay with that bold prediction. I have a feeling Always Karina will dominate or win by as many as she needs to. And she will run against Malathot this summer. I don't know what race it's going to be in. I don't know when it's going to come up. I have a feeling that she will, and Chad Brown is going to have a big filly on her hands. And Aaron, with a big win, she might creep into your sleeper. We'll see. That she would have to jump up pretty big, but she looks like one of those late bloomers potentially. Didn't run as a 2-year-old, but kind of getting better. And we're going to see if she ran well over a muddy or sloppy track and that was it, or if she's really that talented. Aaron, wrap up your pick 4 ticket for us?
Yeah, I'm going 1-8 in the first leg, hoping the Wesley Ward horse can get us through. And then I'm with you, the 2-5 in the second leg. And let's just see if Always Karina is that horse we think she is. We were identical in leg 3, 3, 4, 6, and 8. And I close it off with 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the last leg. Just a $32 ticket today. I just felt like the pick 4 was kind of the best play in comparison to try to bet some of these short prices to win. Everybody that watches the show knows I like to bet win bets a lot, but not when they're 2-5 and 3-5.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If we go through race 1, after 5, if you get 6-5 at 6-5 on after 5, congratulations. I don't see how that's going to work out.
No.
The 2, Always Karina. I'm looking at 3-5. If you get even money, congrats to you again. The 8, you should get some decent prices if you want to take a stab, because I don't think anyone will be shorter than 5-2, even though Sheki Shabazz is listed at 2-1. And race 9, that would probably be if you were to play along with us and you felt like you wanted to hedge a little bit. And it's like, for example, I went 4-5-8, and it's like, all right, I like the 7 a little bit. I'll throw a couple bucks on the 7 just to hedge, depending on how the payouts are looking. That could be a race, because you should get like Spatial could easily go off at 8-1. So just keep that in mind. There's no reason, I don't think, for a big ticket today. No true long shots. Aaron, I think this thing could pay about $100 if we get some decent prices home. I was close though to playing like a $5 or $10 pick 4 with some shorter prices and then narrowing it. Didn't get a chance to do that, but $36 and $32 for us today. That's going to do it for us. Yes, they're actually, you know what? Shout out to Jason Beam, new Tampa announcer. He has his Beamy Awards. He's the Grant Pass and the Colonial Downs announcer as well. So he's going to be heading down to Tampa Bay down. So congratulations to him. Big news for him. He's a lot of people like him, like his voice. So Tampa Bay Downs will be getting a good one down there. So congrats to him adding Tampa Bay Downs to his resume. But that's going to do it for us. You guys can always check out racingdudes.com for all of the content. If you want more in-depth detail of Aaron's first edition. That's what I should have said. First edition of his rankings, his version of his NTRA rankings and things like that. And don't comment that there are no Bob Baffert horses on there. He said that already. So that's going to do it for us today. My products are out as well, all ready to go. Again, special post times for Thursday. Churchill Downs at 5, Belmont at 3, Gulfstream in about 50 minutes, 55 minutes, I don't know, something like that, 12:45 or 12:50 today. But tomorrow, everyone will be back to their normal post times. Belmont 1, I think Churchill like 12:45 or 12:50, and then Gulfstream, same thing. But that's going to do it for us today. We will see you guys bright and early tomorrow. We'll go back to Belmont on Friday morning, and then start to ramp up this Belmont Stakes talk from tomorrow, in 2 weeks, until you and Jared step down or touch down in New York City. So that'll be fun. We'll get a chance to catch up and things like that. Maybe we can try to do a live stream from there or somewhere else. So we'll try to work on that as well. But that's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy. 11 o'clock tomorrow for Belmont Park at 11 a.m. Take care, everyone.